Picture a humid, oxygen-rich swamp millions of years before the first dinosaur took a breath. A 30-foot predator glides through the murky water. It has the long, toothy snout of a crocodile, but this creature doesn't have a single scale on its body. We are looking at the Parnaíba Basin in modern-day Brazil, roughly 270 million years ago. This was the Permian period, an era where the most successful predators in the water were members of the class Amphibia. Take a look at this scale comparison. On the left is the modern Japanese giant salamander, the largest living amphibian today, capping out around 5 feet long and 50 pounds. Next to it is Prionosuchus plummeri. At an estimated 30 feet long and weighing around 2,000 pounds, it dwarfed a human being. By the standards of modern biology, an amphibian the size of a school bus represents a physiological outlier. It challenges our understanding of the group's physical limits. This animation illustrates the primary barrier to amphibian growth, cutaneous respiration, or skin breathing. As an animal scales up, its internal volume grows geometrically, expanding much faster than its outer skin surface area can keep up with. A 2,000-pound mass requires a massive amount of oxygen to maintain, but at that scale, the skin lacks the necessary surface area to absorb enough gas from the environment, leading to a state of oxygen starvation. Then there is the structural problem. Amphibian skeletons are built with horizontal, sprawling limbs. Unlike the vertical, pillar-like legs of later reptiles, these are not designed to support a 1-ton body against the constant pull of gravity. For Prionosuchus to reach these dimensions, it had to bypass the biological constraints that keep modern amphibians small. Surviving at this scale required a total commitment to an aquatic life. By remaining submerged, Prionosuchus could rely on internal, fish-like gills or well-developed lungs that handled the respiratory load its skin could not. This thermal map demonstrates the benefit of its immense bulk, Gigantothermy. In the warm, tropical waters of Permian Brazil, a 2,000-pound body loses heat very slowly, maintaining a stable core temperature that increased its metabolic efficiency. In the clogged, swampy channels of the Parnaíba Basin, sprawling legs were a liability. The skeletal evidence points to a specialized, eel-like body plan, where a powerfully muscled and laterally flattened tail provided far more thrust. By utilizing the water to support its massive weight, Prionosuchus was no longer restricted by the gravity-bound limits of terrestrial tetrapods. However, being large in a fluid medium creates significant drag. A traditional wide, flat amphibian head acts like a shovel underwater, pushing a pressure wave that alerts prey and slows the predator down. Here is the fossil evidence. These dorsal and ventral skull illustrations highlight an extreme elongation of the snout, forming a narrow rostrum like a modern Gharial crocodile. The cross-sections reveal a deeply constricted profile. This narrow shape minimized surface area, significantly reducing hydrodynamic resistance. Prionosuchus utilized these principles of fluid dynamics to develop a specialized aquatic hunting tool 50 million years before the first crocodiles appeared. Modern giant salamanders are suction feeders. They rapidly expand their throats to create a vacuum, pulling in water and food in a single short-range burst. A 30-foot predator targeting agile Permian fish required a different strategy, a raptorial approach that could strike at a distance. This vector diagram illustrates the mechanics of the lateral strike. Because the narrow snout moved through the water with minimal resistance, the head could accelerate horizontally with immense velocity, intercepting fish before they could react. The strike was secured by rows of conical, recurved teeth. These were not designed to crush bone, but to interlock perfectly, turning the entire length of the snout into an inescapable cage for slippery prey. This combination of hydrodynamic, specialized anatomy and high-velocity mechanics placed Prionosuchus as the apex predator of its lagoonal environment. The very adaptations that allowed Prionosuchus to reach such impossible sizes eventually became a fatal dependency. Its specialized biology tied it permanently to deep, humid waterways. Roughly 252 million years ago, intense global warming reshaped the supercontinent Gondwana. Vast blue wetlands rapidly shrank, replaced by encroaching arid zones. With skin that quickly desiccates in heat, the giant amphibians were trapped in disappearing habitats. The environmental conditions that favored these aquatic giants vanished, and their specialized advantages were now liabilities. As the Permian lagoons baked into desolate mudflats, the last of the 30-foot leviathans died out, leaving the top of the food chain empty. This extinction cleared the way for a different group of tetrapods, the archosauromorphs, the ancestors of crocodiles and dinosaurs. Unlike amphibians, these reptiles possessed watertight skin and skeletal structures suited for land, allowing them to thrive in the new arid world following the extinction. Prionosuchus was an organism that mastered the limits of its era. It reached a scale no amphibian has since approached, but its reign ended when the water that sustained